Her name is Sheldina, and she ate the ass of her other turtle. She ate Squirtle's ass. And not in the good way, because Squirtle died after you ate his ass. But at least Sheldina is happy in this big old beautiful tank that she now owns for herself, along with her fishy friends. Sheldina. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake Show.
Very nice. Welcome to the Comedy Cupcake Show, hosted by your favorite comedy couple, Lila Hart and Eric Abbenante. It is Saturday, July the 11th, 2020. How you doing, baby girl?
I am doing fantastic.
Oh, hair flip. Beautiful. Why are you doing so good today?
Well, I got a haircut. I know, you guys can probably tell. Why is her hair not in a scrunchie? It's because it looks so beautiful now. After almost 5 months, I finally got to go see my lady Vanna at Strands in Chatsworth. Yes, that is my, I was a hairstylist or a hair cutterist? What is it called?
I think hairstylist is definitely more the
hair
term.
Cutterist.
Hair
I finally got a haircut, and I'm so excited. That's why my hair is down, because it's not dry. I always have it in scrunchies because it's dry. Yeah.
5 long months. Was there anything different about this haircut than the last time you went?
Well, you know, of course, I had to wear my mask, but I did receive this amazing mask.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
From
this.
Crack 'em Up Comedy, Nichelle Murdoch. I love you so much. Thank you for sending me this mask. And I wore it today to get my hair cut. I'll model it for you guys so you can see.
Bang.
Oh, well, sorry.
Do it to all 3 cameras. Bang.
See?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nichelle. I appreciate always supporting Lila.
Shout out to Crack 'em Up Comedy. Crack 'em
Very
Up.
nice.
You know, some of my favorite stand-up memories are Thursday nights at the Comedy Store with Nichelle Murdoch and performing at the Crack 'em Up Comedy Show. So
Yeah, you've always killed it on those shows. It's
so much fun, and I miss you so much, Nichelle. And I will be wearing this a lot, you know, because we have to wear masks everywhere we go. And I wore it today to get my hair cut.
very nice, very nice. And also, can you show the audience the other thing that's on the table right now?
Oh, yes. Okay,
this
so
amazed me.
we went to Eric's parents' house today, and I received some gifts. I was sent this shirt. You guys can see it. Read it, honey.
I'm a plantaholic on the road to recovery. Just kidding. I'm on the way to get more plants.
Yes, because I am the ultimate plant lady. I don't know who sent this to me, so if you sent this to me, I love you and thank you so much. This is the most thoughtful gift ever because I really am a plantaholic.
Nah, it's perfect. And yeah,
I'm
it's
a plantaholic.
It's amazing. You have a secret admirer. Even when you have a boyfriend, you have people sending you stuff. That's so cool. And I assume it's because your birthday is coming up.
Yes, on Tuesday, the 14th, and don't you forget it.
I've been prepping. I have 2 gifts, and I have 1 more that I'm working on. It's gonna be a great birthday.
How exciting!
Yeah, no, I am so excited.
Oh, and I also want to give a shout out to Debbie and Chris DeSaul for a gift that they sent me, which was a heart-shaped aquarium, a little aquarium. What is it called? Like a little trinket? Aquarium decoration.
Yeah.
And it's in Dino's tank, so we'll add a little clip of that because Dino is just the best, and he is so happy, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for sending me that gift. It was super thoughtful because, you know, I'm a plantaholic and a fishaholic, so...
It was a substantial piece of decoration. It would literally not fit in either one of these tanks right here. I believe it's like a little taller.
Yeah, it's about this big, and it's heart shaped. It's like little plant decor.
It's very ornate. It's very
decor,
beautiful. But, you know, it's very nice.
It's beautiful, and it's super thoughtful, and I love that it's a heart shape, and because, you know, my last name's Hart.
And, yeah, Dino loves decorations. We have like a moss-covered log in there. We have some colorful plants. we have a marijuana pipe that's shaped like a rhino.
It's amazing.
And it's
amazing.
in there. So yeah, it's
So now Dino's tank is super filled. It's pretty filled in
I don't
every
think
area.
I don't think
I could put anything else in there. But thank you so much, Debbie and Krista. I love you guys, and I miss you, and I can't wait till we can hang out.
Yeah, it's
when we don't have to wear these thingies. But I love this so much, Chris, from Nichelle.
Yeah, so even with 2020 the way it is, it's still you're gonna have a special birthday, baby. I can tell. It's gonna be a great birthday.
Well, as long as I'm with you.
Aww, that's so sweet. Yeah, no,
so sweet.
We are actually, I'm excited. I've been planning it out. I've been trying to find places that are open, and it's definitely a challenge. You can't just go to a place or even if you wanted to go to a place and it's like, well, do they allow outside seating? Is it just like takeout or delivery? So many changes are happening to businesses these days. It's like hard to keep up with. I don't know. Like even today when I was I went to get this shirt.
Yes, you look so handsome, honey.
Aw, thank you, baby.
You look so dressed up that the audience would not know that you aren't wearing dress pants to go along with this.
It's an old broadcaster trick. You look great from the top up. Down below, you don't even need to wear pants.
Exactly.
Who knows if I am wearing anything? Well, that's for the behind the scenes footage. But yeah, this shirt I am sponsored by Calvin Klein and. And by sponsored, I mean it was on sale. So
Nordstrom Rack, baby.
Yeah, it was like they made it just for me. But no, it's like amongst the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn. The fabric is really nice. But
so what was different about going to Nordstrom's today?
There's no fitting rooms anymore.
What?
You have to just a suit. You have to measure yourself before you go. And you have to just kind of guess and just hope that it fits. And, I had to go back and return one piece of clothing. But, yeah, it's just, it was just like, wow. So
it's a totally different experience out there in the world shopping in 2020. No fitting rooms.
And I feel like, honestly, they could do a fitting room if they wanted to. But they were just like, screw it. This is a nice excuse to get rid of the fitting room. We don't like it. We don't want to deal with it. It just takes up a lot of, it's a lot of hassle anyways, And so I just feel like they were just like, we can use this as a nice little excuse to get rid of the fitting
prefer
room.
Online shopping these days anyways, so I'm okay.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think the stores realize if you can't actually go in and try on the stuff, what is the point of going to the store? There's not a lot of advantages. The only advantage was I could, feel the shirt and be like, oh, I like that shirt versus this shirt. But it's, you're just doing a lot of this, I don't feel like I'm really getting the same experience. There's definitely no tailor or seamstress, measuring you or anything or measuring your inseam. There's definitely none of that anymore. That's probably a thing of either the past or it's going to take a little while for it to return.
Yeah, those were the days. Well, other exciting news this week, we both checked out. I mean, he's the only person I hang out with, so we both. We went to the new North Hollywood Trader Joe's, the infamous Trader Joe's that was trending on Twitter.
Yeah, the one that went viral on social media for the woman not wearing mask.
When I saw that viral tweet, I didn't care about the mask situation. I was just so excited to find out that there was a Trader Joe's in North Hollywood, 7 minutes from our house.
Yeah, when they posted the video and they're like, oh, look at this woman, all I could see was like, wow, look at the space in there.
It just looks so beautiful, and we got to go, and it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. The selection is phenomenal. The The wait in line, of course. I mean, that's just
The
like
line was long. It was like they were showing a new like Marvel comic book movie. It was like, wow, this is.
Yeah, and they like put hand sanitizer in your hands before you go in. It's like
And it's not. It's not optional. You have to.
They have to like spray you.
Yeah, and so the whole line smelled like alcohol, like it was like a concert or something. But
I'm not used to my hair being down right now. I'm like, I keep touching it. I'm so like weirded out by it.
Yeah,
like,
that's. Yeah, I think you're weirded out by it. I think you're just trying to show the audience, and you know.
Do you want to touch it?
Oh yes, absolutely. I will be touching it later.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Camera.
This made me think of a story really quick. I have to tell you this story.
Yeah, yeah.
So one time when I was in the 8th grade, I really liked this boy. I had a crush on him. And
What? Who's this guy so I can beat him up?
It's really funny. I had a crush on this guy, and we were walking to class, and it was just me and him in the hallway, and I was like, hey, I just got new shampoo. Like, you should smell my hair. And I had him smell my hair. That was my flirting tactic, was to be like, smell my hair. I got new shampoo. And he smelt my hair, and it was just like this awkward thing, but that's how I tried to flirt. I was like, hey, smell my hair. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, did it work?
No.
Good, or else I would have had to beat you up, random guy.
It didn't work. I was a loser.
Good.
So it didn't work. Anyways, back to Trader Joe's. So we went to Trader Joe's. It was really fun. It was so exciting. You know, I love getting out of the house. So it was so exciting. And Eric got me my first orchid.
Orchid.
God, why am I having a hard time speaking?
Because you're a plantaholic.
The other day, I called salmon. You know, salmon? And then I realized it's because my mom's Filipino, and that's how she would call salmon, is salmon.
Don't blame your mom.
It is. My mom's Filipino accent rubs off on me, and I'll say like, oh, I'm eating my salmon.
Didn't you mispronounce bagel or something like that? I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that you?
No.
There's something you mispronounced.
Why are you trying to call me out on these things?
Because
I just called myself out, so.
You can't pronounce salmon.
Salmon. The salmon. And I felt so bad. I was eating my salmon in front of my fish here. I'm just like, oh my God, this must be traumatic for them. But we got my first orchid, which is really exciting. And I watched a ton of plant video YouTube about how to take care of these orchids, and we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you updated.
They're harder to grow than weed. I mean, they're pretty like temperamental. So good luck with that. I hope you nail it. It takes a keen plantaholic to take care of them. So
on the road to recovery. Just kidding. I'm on my way to get more plants.
But yeah, the interesting thing about this Trader Joe's was Honey,
why are you sweating?
It's because this shirt is so comfortable. It's so nice.
It's the bright lights in our studio, you know, just with our zero audience. And it is midnight. It's midnight we're doing this.
Oh.
It is now July 12th.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was going to say. But yeah, the other thing about this Trader Joe's that was interesting, I don't know if it was because of the viral lady, but there was a guy who wasn't wearing his mask properly. It wasn't covering his nose, and so they were like, you know, they were giving guidance and really critiquing people on how to wear their masks properly. And so now it's not enough to wear the mask; you have to wear it correctly.
Okay, this is really funny. Eric got a bandana, like a red bandana, and I was wearing that. Like, you know, I had tied it around the bandana. And then I lifted the front part of the bandana, and I just, like, was wearing the whole thing over my face completely because I could see it out with my eyes. I could see out. It was, like, kind of slightly see-through, but, like, if you were looking at me, it just looked like I had a bandana over my face. And you're like, how can she see? But I could see it. And then it was just kind of funny. I was walking around with this bandana covering my whole face, but then I got like nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, someone is going to start recording me, and then I'm gonna end up on Twitter, and I'm wearing this red bandana. It's not a good look.
And you're like, I want to save it for my podcast. You know, I don't want people to record me. I want to talk about it.
But then what if they're like, think I'm like gang affiliate, you know, wearing this around Trader Joe's.
World's shortest blood.
Exactly. So I was like, I gotta take this off.
Yeah, I mean,
I only wore it around like for a little bit, and I was like making Eric laugh like with this whole thing over my face, and be like, "Oh, look at me!" And then I was like, "Oh my God, people are gonna think I'm not taking COVID seriously," and I gotta.
I would say the opposite. I mean, what could be safer? You're covering your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your whole face is covered. But yeah, no, when you go to the grocery store with Lila, it's an experience because she'll just scream Eric like randomly, and I'll have to like run to her. Or
I can't find you or see you.
And then sometimes she'll just be like, avocado, red peppers. It's like, we're not in the store alone. There are other people. Avocado, Eric, I got my pills.
Okay, why did you scream I got my pills? When he says pills, it's making me sound like I'm
vitamins.
They're vitamins, okay? Like biotin or just good vitamins. I like vitamins.
Stuff to grow these nails.
Yeah, you see, I take vitamins. Now, I hope you edit this so when I look at the camera and say I take vitamins, you go to this camera.
Okay.
I take vitamins. Also, because, I have a stress bald spot. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I keep thinking about it. So I'm going to show you guys.
Yeah, talk about it.
I have a stress bald spot here. You see? This happened about 2 weeks before COVID, which I think that my brain was like tingling, letting me know that there was about to be some crazy thing happening in the world. So my hair started falling out. Yeah, it's like not really growing back yet, but let's just film this so that I can have a timestamp in my life. This is really for me. It's not for anybody else. This is for me to be like, hey, I have this little bald spot here. But yeah, I rock a bald spot, and I just got some biotin vitamins that are for like hair, skin, and nails. So hopefully this will get fixed.
I mean, you got a bald spot and a comb over, technically, if you think about it.
Oh my God, you're so mean.
You are the prettiest person with a bald spot and a comb over ever.
It's a stress bald spot, you know? It's like, it happened to me 2 weeks before COVID came out.
I feel like it was like before that even.
No, it was in February that this happened, okay? And I was stressed out about personal life stuff. And then the world went nuts, and then it's like, it hasn't grown back yet, because it's like one stress after the other just keeps getting more and more stressful. I'm just lucky it's just stayed this one little spot.
It's like how animals start like freaking out, or like fish start jumping out of water right before there's like a natural disaster. You get a bald spot.
Yeah.
Before there's a 100-year pandemic.
Okay, it's not gonna be 100 years. Oh my God.
Yeah, they happen every 100 years like this.
Oh,
this scale.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said it was gonna last 100 years. I was like, oh my God, please.
Yeah, no.
Please, no.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's funny because like we have little pandemics, that happen, and then there's the 1918 one and the 2020 one. So it's like they're the big ones. The big ones.
I feel so vulnerable. I just like put myself out there in the world like that, showcasing my bald spot. It was very, very vulnerable.
Aw, that's great, babe. You're so brave. You're so brave, and you teach me so much about life, like how you can wear a bandana and just scream in the store and act however you want. It is. No one has more fun in a grocery store than Lila Hart. I'll tell you that.
I have a good time in the grocery store. Okay, I would like now to read the 2 messages on my tea bags. Okay, are you ready for it?
Ooh, I'm so ready.
This is Yogi brand tea, by the way. It's green tea today. First one says, love is the ultimate law of life. And second one says, people who love are forgiving.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Are you forgiving to me?
Oh, my gosh. Of course, Eric. Of course.
What have I ever done for you to forgive?
Oh, my God. Let's just go through the day. Just kidding. It's really funny. Relationships are, I think it is about a lot of love and a lot of forgiveness.
It's about learning to live together.
Learning to love.
And, learning
to like you. Oh, and then I wanted to add this new thing in. Did you have anything more to say about that?
Oh, you can go.
Okay, so we have a ton of Panda Express fortune cookies, and I was like, let's start reading them on this Comedy Cupcake podcast.
It's like, I don't know why we were keeping them, but I guess it was for this moment.
Yes, for this moment. You can eat that.
Nah, I'm not gonna eat that.
Okay.
I have no idea how old.
Oh, this is great. You will be showered with good luck. I hope I'm showered with blessings for my hair to grow back. See?
Well, that's funny. I don't think they're gonna write bad ones. You know, I don't think they write doom and gloom cookies. I think that's why they're called fortune cookies.
Eric, there's been some fortune cookies that were like insulting. Actually, this is a very good one. I've had fortune cookies that were just insulting before, that were not that great.
Like just, backhanded compliments.
Yes, or just like good things come to those who wait. It's like no shit. You know, so this
be more patient for your fortune.
You will be showered with good luck. You know, today my mom said that your life can change for the better, like really quickly. So maybe this time next year, instead of 50 people watching this podcast, it's 50,000. Right?
That's amazing.
That's why we're going to keep making these Comedy Cupcake episodes. Because they're really just for me and Eric, so that we can look back on our lives and be like, wow, we've really come a long way from the time you had a bald spot, you know?
Wow, Eric got a purple shirt. Yeah, things like that. Speaking of which, you were talking about change. Did you know there is a change shortage in the United States?
I did not, honey. Tell me. Actually, I did, but I was just going to say I did not. So tell me all about it.
Well, first of all, it's really hard to discuss with people because, not that it's like, you know, offensive or anything, but people don't get what you're talking about. Like, oh, we're out of change. We're low on change in America. Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. Hope and change. It's like, no, literally, we are out of change. And then you have to say coins. But yeah, they won't, due to coronavirus, you know, they aren't making coins in the mint, you know, and so we're running out of coins. And honestly, I don't like coins anyways, so I'm pretty happy about this because it's all about the bills.
Yeah, all about the bills.
Wait, do you think we're gonna cancel everyone on the bills because they're all problematic? I mean, if we're gonna get mad at the people on the Mount Rushmore, no one gets mad at the people on Mount Rushmore when they are on paper and you have a lot of them. People are like, oh,
that's
yeah,
funny.
20s, 100s, 1s, 5s, but when they're you know, plastered onto a mountain, you're upset at them, but when you have their money, you're like, yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, the money. You know what? I think everybody online just loves to be offended. And I was thinking about this the other day. Not by the other day, I mean an hour ago. I really hate how people will say, like, that's offensive, or they're offensive. And it's like, hold up. You are offended, so you should just say, I am offended by that. And instead of calling it offensive, you're the one who's experiencing the offensiveness. A thing that might be offensive to you might not be offensive to me at all. And everybody just wants to be mad on Twitter and start these, like, fights. I don't even use Twitter like that. I use Twitter to see what's trending and post videos of my cats.
That's funny. Yeah, I think it's funny. There's a dichotomy of like people understand that, you know, our tastes are not universal. We like to watch and, you know, absorb all these different things, the internet and TV. But everyone thinks that feelings are universal and opinions are universal.
I think that as a comedian, my goal is to stay to not get offended, you know? Like, if I'm a comedian and I'm on stage and I want to have the freedom to express my ideas, like, I don't want to be offended by anything because I want to be able to tell my truth without people judging me, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that comedians, when you're constantly getting offended by stuff, it's like, just write jokes and
but stick
to the humor.
If you're not gonna be offended, how are you gonna cancel people? You know, I think it's just funny that, you know, we've gotten to this point where we're canceling people. I mean, it is so important to make mistakes and grow from the mistakes. So I am worried about this new trend. I just sometimes I'm like, what do you want from these people after you cancel them? Like, should they? I think people just they love seeing people rise and then seeing them fall. Like, what do you want them to do? Yeah, it's
No, they want them to like lose all their money and to like be like sad and suffering. That's what
well,
canceling is.
unfortunately, there is like a historical analogous concept to this. During Mao Zedong's China in the communist era, there was these things called struggle sessions, where not only were you going to be canceled and lose everything, you would essentially get tarred and feathered in the public square, but then you would have to go through this ritual of crawling through feces or over broken glass or whatever was the most painful and humiliating thing.
My God, humans just don't change, do we?
No.
History just repeats itself.
And then and then you were forced to kill yourself.
No, seriously, I could. What people don't realize is like, could you imagine having like millions of people online telling you how stupid you are, how dumb you are, how you should kill yourself, how you're a piece of shit for this tweet that you wrote 10 years ago, and just have millions upon millions of people just like basically telling you that you should go kill yourself. It's like I wish that every time somebody was about to write something mean to somebody, they would just take that energy, take a look into their life and be like, where is an area I can fix? It's like, are my socks paired up? Could I just like go match my socks right now rather than send this angry tweet? Because I think I might be happier in my life if my socks were matched. But it's like, no, I'm going to spend 15 minutes berating this person and talking shit about this individual, and while my room is a fucking mess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people should, especially in comedy terms, the only thing we should be offended by is things not being funny.
Yes.
And even then, it's still like, don't judge because, they're working on it. They're trying to be funny. And, I think that's the big mistake.
I guess it's very interesting to me, like, comedians canceling other comedians is a funny thing. It's like, just, you know what I mean?
Especially when there's no comedy really going on.
Yeah.
It's like the smallest amount of comedy is going on, yet there's the most infighting amongst comedians, which is very interesting. But I think it's reflective of the online culture, because even online you're seeing a lot of this type of infighting, and it's because we have more time.
Half of the things that people write and say online would never be said in person. The insults that you say to someone online, you would never have the balls to walk up to them and say in person.
Yeah, because we think through your profile or your 10-second clip or whatever you post online, we think we know a person, but you don't know a person in general. And so that's the problem is we know ourselves. We know all the data points. We know everything we've been through. The people online, they only see what you put out online, and that's the main issue is as humans, we're filling in the gaps of what is there.
You know what's funny, Eric? So I do read most of my messages and my DMs that I get, even though I have almost 50,000 followers. And I read this message recently, and it's in the folder where it's like people I don't follow. You could read that later. Anyway, so I opened this message, and it's just this guy like insulting me, like insult after insult after insult, like and it doesn't matter what I post, he's insulting me. And there was a small urge in me that I like wanted to defend myself, but then I clicked on his profile, and in his bio it said, "Rest in peace, Mom, rest in peace, Dad, and rest in peace to another name that I think was maybe like a brother or sister." And I actually like felt really sad for this person, like they've lost these 3 people in their life, and they're probably struggling emotionally with a lot of stuff, that they're taking out their emotion and their anger by insulting me, like a disabled comedian, and then there was a part of me that wanted to write him and be like, "Hey, I saw in your bio, that you've lost your parents, and I hope that you find some like inner peace." And I almost wrote him, and then I just left it alone. I didn't say anything. I'm like, I don't even want to open this Pandora's box of
Well, you know how the internet is, you saying that nice thing of "I hope you find the inner peace." Like, oh, is this some sarcastic shade you're throwing?
But
People
Eric,
don't expect you to be nice, period.
this was at the grocery store. When we were at the grocery store, I was like looking through messages randomly, and I actually like felt sad. And I think I really felt sad for this person. Like it made me kind of like tear up. I'm like looking at avocados and crying, and I was just kind of thinking like, wow, like could you imagine losing your family and then you are so mixed with so much emotions and frustrations and anger that you're online just like insulting random ass people. And I bet you that this person probably doesn't think that I was ever going to read these messages, you know, like they probably thought I was never going to open them, you know, and I opened it and they probably think I was never going to look at his page. And it was, yeah. And I had something like this happen to me on Facebook once too. This woman, this was like 3 years ago. She like wrote me this like really hateful message, and I went on her page, and she had like a 2-year-old daughter, and like it was in all her pictures, and she's talking about how much she loves her daughter. And I wrote her back, and I was like, you know, hey, I actually read these messages, and I hope that you find whatever peace you're looking for. You have a beautiful daughter. And, you know, I complimented her, and she wrote me back this like long ass thing apologizing to me. And she said, I didn't think you would actually read these, and I'm really sorry. And then that's when I realized like a lot of times people, they don't think you're going to see these messages, and they're like getting out their frustrations and their anger on somebody that looks happy because they're not happy in their own life.
Wow.
It's very sad.
That is well said. And I have mixed emotions because I want to continue this conversation, but I'm going to have to be the camera crew.
And I need to get some more tea.
Perfect.
So we'll be back.
We'll be right back. All right. And we're back.
And we are back. And I've got some more hot water for my tea.
Ooh, fancy.
But yeah, so I almost wrote that the guy in my IG messages, I almost wrote him something, but then I was just like, oh, I don't want to. Because once you write back to somebody, then your inbox is always open to them. So I was like, I'm not even going to address it or say anything.
Yeah, I was.
But I'm talking about it here. So if you really hate me, but you always watch my stuff, just know. Because maybe he watches my stuff, too.
What if that was the person who sent you the green shirt?
I don't think that's what it was. But hey, if you are watching this, I am, you know, I'm really sorry that you lost your parents. And I do hope that you find the peace that you're looking for. And you know, not like I am just going to say this really quick too. I am really grateful that I'm at this point in my life where like I can receive random hateful messages like that and like kind of brush it off, and it doesn't affect me as much as it would have like 5 years ago. Like for example, 5 years ago, before I did stand up, I was working for these YouTubers, and I was a moderator for their live stream, and I was just like in the background, and a comment came up by one of their viewers, and the comment said, "Who's the midget in the background? Who's that midget back there?" And
I need to know.
Yeah, there's a midget over there. I see her. Who is she? And
identify yourself.
And I read that message, and I literally got up, went to like excuse myself to go to the bathroom, and I started like bawling, and then I had to like leave. I had to like make up this reason as to like I wasn't feeling good, and I left, and I didn't even tell the YouTubers I was working with at the time that, oh my gosh, someone called me a midget, and it's like, but it was just like a comment. It was like oh my gosh, so funny. And now I'm on stage calling myself the baddest midget bitch, you know. So it's just like, it's really funny how you can really like grow and evolve, but gosh, sometimes though it's
that is like one of the few things that our generation has to deal with that previous generations never had to deal with, was like random hate. I guess the only equivalent for them would be like ghosts or some shit, or like voices they heard in their head.
Well, okay, so I started my YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. It's Love Lila Hart, just like my IG. 10 years ago, I was making YouTube videos, and I was making them randomly, and some of my videos on there have like 10 to 20,000 views, but I would get like these hateful comments, so I stopped, and that really like made me not post. And it's like, man, if 10 years ago I like didn't give a fuck like I do now, like I'd probably be like a big ass YouTuber because I was posting all the time. But the negativity kind of prevented me from doing that, and like I've had a different journey because of being disabled. You know, I've had to like just figure out how to not let the hateful stuff get to me.
Yeah.
And it's been difficult. I mean, even so, I'm still fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in a small way, that dude's message made me feel some type of way, but I got a podcast to talk about it and a boyfriend who will eat my pussy from the back. So everything is okay.
Yeah, shout out to Sheldina.
Sheldina is, gosh, I am so upset that she ate Squirtle's ass, but.
Yeah, not in the good way.
Yeah, Squirtle is buried in the rosemary bush with Darla, Squirtle, and Darla. So I got a rosemary bush with 2 red-eared sliders in there.
Providing nitrogen. Yeah, that is yeah, I just think in the end what you said, I hope you find peace, is really like what a lot of people need to hear online, but it's just like F you or oh my god, 3 clown face emojis, you know, it's just like we're very combative, and in the end all people are really looking for is like validation and love.
No,
and
people
affection.
are just mean. You know, I watched this video once where it was like talking about it was talking about like what if every person, like there's like this theory that we're all one and that when you die you just like live each person's life. So you're me and I'm you. Does that make sense? And so like every person that you meet is actually you in a different timeline of you're going to reincarnate as everybody that you meet. So if that's true, everybody that you're talking shit about is essentially yourself. So it's like, be nice.
Yeah, well, it's like we're all made of like the same elements and like the stars and the meteors that have fallen.
Isn't that idea though kind of like scary to think about? Like, what if every single person really was you, and we were just like you're in a simulation, like living. We're all just each other.
Sounds like one of the bad M. Night Shyamalan movies. You know, it's like, oh, what a twist! It was always us the whole time.
It was always you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
But if that was actually true, and you knew that was true, you would really, really be like, yo, I'ma just be like a monk and be hella nice.
Or, you know, some people are just mean to themselves all the time. And I really do think
that's true.
I really do think, you know, being mean to others is kind of being mean to yourself, because it causes, you know, pain and stress and all this undue negativity that you don't really need in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so burp. In the end, I really think that people need to be better to themselves, you know.
Yeah. Be better to yourself. And stop writing messages that are mean to people you don't even know. My God.
That is
like, oh wait, and here's another thing. I almost blocked him too. Like I should just block this person from my Instagram, but I was like, no, I'll let him keep watching.
He's clearly a big fan.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But it's just like thinking about, you know, that whole concept of, you know, when you die, your life flashes before your eyes. I was really thinking about how our generation is going to have a really boring flash before their eyes, because just a lot
so much scrolling.
Just a lot of this, you know, it's just like, yeah, what a way to live your life. You know, other generations, they were out and doing stuff, and now it's just like, oh, screw you.
Man.
Yeah, it's like it really gets devolved into, you know, like you're just gonna be sitting there and be like, oh, I remember that one post, I got 34 likes. That was sweet. that was the high water mark of my life.
Oh my God.
Remember that guy I flamed on Twitter? I got him so good. Oh, and then I never really went to my parents' funeral. You know, it was just like, you know, it's like, my God. I don't know. I hope we get a grip and, you know, the pendulum swings back the other way, where we're more about face-to-face interaction. You know, the one thing I would say is I'm really glad that we met in person and we didn't do online dating or anything like that, like to meet each other.
Well, I think our relationship is a good example of like when it's meant to be, it'll be, and timing and destiny. Like I think we were destined to be together.
Aw.
I really do.
And not just because our size matches perfectly with each other?
That too. I do think there's a lot of things in your life and in my life that matches. So
yeah, And I've never done any online dating before. I never thought it would work, and
Eric, nobody would swipe right as soon as you put your height. Like, it would have just been a no go. I mean, girls have in their bio, must be 6 foot to talk to me. So you would have just been like,
yeah,
no.
I literally have no one to talk to. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Great point, baby.
So I'm really excited to hear your monologue for today's episode.
Yeah, episode 10. All right,
Are you going to check the cameras?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the cameras, and then we're going to get going on this monologue.
Yay.
All right, let's get this monologue going. I think I'm getting better each time.
I'm excited.
All right, here we go. Defund the police has been the trend de rigueur in America. In LA, New York City, Minneapolis, and Atlanta, we've seen some forms of defunding the police, or in the case of Atlanta, the neutering of the police force by making them feel like they cannot defend themselves. We now have had enough time to analyze the effect of defunding the police. After the NYPD's funds were cut by $1 billion, homicides doubled compared to the same time last year when more people were out in the streets. In fact, New York City set a 21st century record when 38 people were killed in just 3 days. Homicides rose by 2.5 times in Chicago, and homicides are up compared to last year in LA. Minneapolis had a personal record of 1,600 gunfire reports within 30 days. More than double the highest reported amount in that area. Clearly, defunding the police is a very effective policy for criminals. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The problem is that society no longer perceives that police are good, when statistics show that they're clearly good for society. There are no more essential workers than doctors, firefighters, teachers, and police. Now, we never talk about defunding doctors and firefighters. When we talk about defunding teachers, we see the immediate drawbacks. If you defund teachers, it will make it harder for them to do their jobs, and the constituents in their community will suffer. We understand this concept for teachers. Why do we struggle to understand this when it comes to police? What group of workers would provide a better service if we defunded them? Well, I can think of one. Let's defund the media. The media is essential. We do need journalism, particularly investigative journalism. No set of workers in any business have been more negatively affected by the profit motive of business than those in the news business. Until the 1980s, those in the news focused more on reporting the news so accurately that they seemed to be prophets. Today, those in the news would sacrifice any semblance of accuracy and credibility so that they can make profits. News people can no longer separate news from their own opinions.
That's true.
50 years ago, not only did TV networks not make money from the news, they did not expect to, nor aspire to. The goal of the news networks was to provide the network with prestige. In 2020, the approval rating of all news media outlets hit an all-time low among American adults. Maybe if the media didn't try so hard to get our attention, we wouldn't get queasy when we did give them a chance. Back when the media was a trusted entity, the entertainment portion of the network paid for the news portion of the network. During the 1960s, CBS owner William Paley instructed news reporters to not worry about ratings or costs. He said, quote, "I have Jack Benny for that." Imagine a comedian providing profits so that others can provide the news to the public. Nowadays, comedians are the most trusted news source because they have to provide some pretense of truth to make the joke work. Unlike the glory days of Jack Benny in the 1960s, today's TV networks have more competition to fight for smaller ratings. The 1980s began This vicious cycle when all three news networks saw different and wealthier ownership. Capital Cities Communications bought ABC, Lawrence Tisch bought CBS, and General Electric bought NBC. The common motive between all three owners was to have news focus on the profit motive. When the profit motive is the focus, truth is blurred in the background. As the news ratings have gotten worse, the news networks have degraded themselves further and further to get a smaller share of the American viewership. Just in 1998, a short 20 years ago, the combined average viewers for the three major news networks was 30 million between the three. Last year, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News did a combined 5.5 million. Half of that coming from Fox. As the networks told the news to become more entertaining, more of the audience changed the channel. As the networks instructed the news to begin producing more programming, we progressively turned off our TVs. As the networks dictated to the news that they needed to control spending, the audience spent their time elsewhere. When will the news realize that the audience they are pandering to is actually very smart and does not want what they are selling? We do not want to be force-fed opinions and told what to think. We want to absorb the news and to decide what we think our opinion should be. Trump, during his 2016 election campaign, called the media fake news. The media, in large part, during the last 4 years, has done everything in their power to make Trump look clairvoyant. CNN and MSNBC in particular have done everything possible to make Trump look bad at every turn. Every news story is framed and slanted in such a way so that Trump ends up the inevitable loser. The unfortunate outcome is that the loser has not been Trump, but the media. The media has an all-time low in credibility for a reason, because they have become the phrase that they have hated, fake news. The boy who cried wolf is now Wolf Blitzer, crying about Trump on CNN. There are a myriad of examples that exemplify this point. For instance, Trump having kids in cages attached to his name, even though the immigration policy where families are detained at the border and then separated was started in 2014 under Obama, the guy I voted for twice. Trump getting criticized for pardoning those he is friendly with, like Roger Stone, when Bill Clinton pardoned his brother. Or Trump getting criticized for having a rally and his supporters getting criticized for not wearing masks, while hundreds of thousands of protesters in 2020 were labeled as heroes of civil rights by the same establishment media, while mostly not wearing masks. But I think one recent example tops all the examples in the media's hypocritical nature in covering Trump. Hydroxychloroquine has gone through so much scrutiny by American media that the medical community has taken an unprecedented step by preventing doctors from using a drug that has worked for over 60 years, and by the CDC's own website has deemed it safe for pregnant women to take. Two non-peer-reviewed studies, a Lancet study and a Brazilian study, where patients were given up to 3 times the lethal dose of hydroxychloroquine, was shown to give patients heart problems. They gave patients enough hydroxychloroquine to kill an elephant and thought this was science. Last week, Ford Medical Center out of Detroit had a peer-reviewed study, the first one on hydroxychloroquine, that found that hydroxychloroquine actually decreases the mortality rate by 13%. Did the media breathlessly report this study? No, they practically hid from reporting the fact that they were loud wrong. This 13% represents tens of thousands of lives that could have been saved just to this point, let alone the hundreds of thousands that it could save in the future. It's time to defund the media so that we can save tens of thousands of lives more that were lost due to the media's lies. If silence is violence, then the media's silence was murder.
Wow, honey, that was great.
Aw, thank you, baby.
I really enjoyed that monologue. You make a lot of very good points. First of all, yeah, we should defund the media. You know what's interesting? You can tell by someone's opinions, like when you're talking to them, what news source they're watching.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. When you watch, for instance, I like to listen to both sides of it. So
But not everybody's doing that. Most people are just listening to one side and one side only and just filling their brain with that. Not everybody has the capacity to be like, hey, I'm going to form my own opinion by doing research here and there and on outside sources. No, it's like they're just being fed and then they're repeating and regurgitating what has been put in the fake news that has been put into their minds.
Well, as I referenced earlier, it's not really journalism anymore. It's a lot of opinions and editorials that are being presented as news. Opinions and editorials are entertaining, but they aren't really news. It's your opinion. And when it's an opinion or an editorial, you tend to absorb the opinion or editorial that mirrors your viewpoint. And that's where journalism can get scary. If you watch, like I do, I'll watch Fox News and Rachel Maddow. That's how, to be frank, that's how I would prepare the monologues for Small Talk Live with Lila Hart. I would look at both sides of the aisle. And if you watch both of those simultaneously, you will think you're living in two opposite universes.
Wow.
It's almost like they don't even know that each other exists. Or they do know each other exists and they are trying to go the opposite of each other.
It's just really sad how the news isn't even about spreading, the right information or correct information. It's about swaying people's opinions and telling people what they should be offended by.
But the issue with editorials or opinions is that they don't change anyone's opinions. It just further entrenches them into that mindset. That's why journalism is so valuable, because you're just presenting information and you're letting the audience decide. There's very few news sources that actually do that. And when you watch them, it's refreshing, frankly.
Yeah.
Because what's happened is we have 24-hour news networks, but there really isn't 24 hours of news. Because news can be done. You can do a world news reporting across the world, and it can be done in 30 minutes. I've seen it done where you present this case. It's like one or two sentences. Okay, we're going to move on to the next story. One or two sentences. But if you can't do one or two sentences if you're like, oh, and screw this politician, and screw that politician.
What I think is funny is how hypocritical people are online too. Like, for example, Target was trending on Twitter because a lady had gone into Target and she saw a rack of masks, and she got so upset that she started filming as she was like beating the rack down, and she was like, fuck the masks, we're not wearing masks in America. And the video went viral and everybody was getting so angry, like how disrespectful of her for doing that. And it's funny to me because just 3 weeks prior, in Minneapolis, they were burning down the Target
and looting it.
And there was no talk of, oh, this is so disrespectful, or like, think about the people who work there. It was just like, it was more people like encouraging this behavior. So it's like, I think both people are wrong, but it's like people like, they're very hypocritical on their judgments.
Oh yeah, like a great.
It's both of it's wrong. Like, okay, here's another thing. I've heard people say, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to be an American. Like, I don't understand why people can't just wear a fucking mask." I'm not mad at the protesters though, but those people that are like that want to go back to work and don't want to wear their mask, like, oh my gosh. And it's like, can't you just be mad at both? Can't you just be mad at both parties for not wearing masks and for not caring about other people?
Oh, absolutely. I think a great example of this was Atlanta Mayor Keisha Bottoms during the protests was very silent and actually kind of encouraging of the protesters. Definitely not saying, oh, and hey, if you're going to protest, wear a mask. I mean, that's pretty even-handed. Like, hey, I support the protest, but wear a mask. She didn't say any of that. And then recently she got coronavirus, her and her whole family, and there was videotape of her a couple weeks prior walking with the protesters without a mask. And after she got coronavirus, she tried to issue a mandate across the city of Atlanta that you have to wear a mask. And I think that's where people get upset.
Yeah, it's you can have your different opinions, but to be so hypocritical when it comes to the side that you don't like is just baffling.
It goes back to what we were talking about in the last few episodes, but the last one in particular, which was no one can say I was wrong. Keisha Bottoms can't be like, yeah, I was wrong. I should have worn a mask, but I didn't. No one says that anymore. And
they don't.
That no one says I was wrong or I'm sorry or I don't know. It's just a lot of I know everything and you're an idiot.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that these same people who were going out are now being like, oh my God, wear a mask. You're so fucking selfish for not wearing a mask. And it's like, bitch, I saw you not wearing a mask when this first started and now you care.
Yeah, and I don't pretend to know a lot about this. What I do know is, the healthier people will probably do better. And, if you're going to be, around a bunch of people, you probably want to wear a mask. But if you're not around a lot of people, you probably don't. But again, I probably don't know much.
The media has really presented this coronavirus in such a way that is very confusing and has caused a lot of mass hysteria. Like, I will never forget the first week of COVID-19. I was at Costco and I was wearing a mask and I felt guilty for having a mask. Because do you guys not remember when they were saying there's a shortage of masks? There's a shortage of masks and donate all of your masks to the hospitals. And I felt guilty for having a mask on. And now they're like, you know what? Doesn't matter what. Just cover your goddamn face. Like, walk around with a bandana covering your whole face. It doesn't matter. Just wrap your mouth up with toilet paper. We don't care. Just cover it. Because in the beginning, it was more about, like, you need to have this kind of mask. This is why I think that there is a division in how people are perceiving the mask. Because in the beginning, they made it seem like you need to have this kind of mask. And if you don't have this kind of mask, like, the mask is useless and it's not protecting you from anything, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that in the beginning?
Yeah.
You had to have a certain type of mask. And now it's doesn't matter what it is, just wear anything. So that's why I can see the side of the non-mask wanting to wear people being like, oh, this is just a way for them to control people. So there's a part of me that can kind of see that because it's like, hey, you went from telling us that masks are useless unless you have the right kind of mask to we don't give a shit what you wear, cover your face, stand in line, let me spray you down situation.
I think the main thing that I've learned is that we haven't really learned much. If you look at the 1918 Spanish flu, do you know what they told people 100 years ago?
What?
It was wear a mask, stay indoors, and stay social distance essentially. So it's literally the exact same stuff that they're telling us today. So in 100 years of advancements in medical technology, we still don't know anything more than we did in 1918 when we lost tens of millions of lives to the Spanish flu. And so I really think that's the main message of all this is like, let's not act like we're all, the Surgeon General and we're all Dr. Fauci. Because even Dr. Fauci in February was saying, oh, you don't need to wear masks. It's not a big deal. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, has gotten multiple aspects of this wrong. But very few people are willing to admit, hey, I don't know. Like, for instance, I didn't check the Lancet or Brazilian study of the hydroxychloroquine in the beginning. All I heard was that, it has a 400% chance of increasing your heart problems. And then I looked into it like a month later, and I was like, oh my God. They were giving so much. Like, the Brazilian study was crazy. They were all giving it like it's not even crazy. It's sad. They should be in jail for medical malpractice and killing these patients. It was that bad. It wasn't science. It was more akin to like what they did in the Holocaust, really, which was just kind of, I don't know, let's see what happens. That's not science, And so I think that's the
Can we
main
all
thing.
just agree that nobody really knows what the fuck is going on, and can we just stop pushing these false agendas onto each other?
The only thing I know is the healthier you are, the better chance you have. But even then, it's still, up to chance and stuff. So we don't know anything. I'm gonna keep myself as healthy as possible.
I'm gonna wear a mask. I'm gonna keep myself healthy, and you are my partner in this quarantine life. It's a quarantine life.
Yes, and so. Yeah, I don't know what I think I don't know is my official position on the coronavirus.
I'm just watching the movie that is unfolding.
That's a great way to put it. Instead of like us talking and trying to figure out where this movie's going, let's just watch and figure out where we go. And then
Wait, that was a weird ass sentence. Let's just watch and figure out where we go.
Yeah. It's a journey. Let's go with the flow here.
It's a journey, and we're going to continue to make these Comedy Cupcake episodes.
And speaking of a journey, before we go, the last clip we're going to show you as we exit this Comedy Cupcake is dedicated to our beautiful turtle, Squirt.
Squirtle, the turtle.
We took this video before
Sheldina ate his ass.
Yeah, so I guess it is kind of awkward in in retrospect because it's Squirtle and her eventual murderer. But they lived together. They were friends for a while, and in the end, Sheldina may have eaten Squirtle's ass, but I'm still really proud of Lila. Lila shows so much love to all of her animals and gives them as good of a life as possible before they perish, whether it's of natural causes or of ass eating. But yeah, it's just Darla, the other turtle we lost, had parasites and was sick from the beginning.
She basically came to us as a hospice care patient. So.
But it's like Lila doesn't matter.
And I've never had turtles before, so I've been learning.
Yeah, she's been learning. She doesn't know everything. Unlike
I am not gonna get another red-tailed slider to go with Sheldina. Clearly, she wants the 30-gallon tank to herself, so she's just gonna be in there by herself. She loves it.
Yeah, Sheldina's doing great. I mean,
she's doing great.
She's
got
strong as hell.
Goldfish that live in there with her. They witnessed the murder, so they're they've got a lot of hiding spots. They know that they're living with a killer, but it is what it is.
So Squirt, this episode is dedicated to you. Love
Squirtle.
you.
All right, leave a comment. Let us know what you enjoyed. Let us know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
See you until next time.